So today we're talking about the Colleen Hoover books I've read. I haven't read much, but I've listened to audiobooks a lot. I have read a few though, many actually. Except those series I forgot जिसमें तीन books वाला था. I did not want to read anything other than Colleen Hoover standalones. Like seriously, no. Except It Starts With Us, but I think that book was the most unnecessary sequel of the century. I won't lie, I did quite like It Ends With Us. Like, not the movie, just the book in general. Matlab, in Colleen Hoover standards, okay, it was okay. So, I'm going to rate every single one and talk about every single one. I think that was the longest intro of the century, and that was not what you call an intro, it was mainly a discussion, but we are here to discuss. So, might as well start in the intro, right? So, for those who do not know me, and I'm sure there are many of you, and most of you have just gone out the video. I don't know what to say, but I'm Snigdha, and I am me, I guess. To define is to limit. I cannot define whatever I do because I do a lot of things, and I seem pleasantly arrogant doing them. So, let's start with naming the books I've read. I have read first one, It Ends With Us. It was the TikTok made me read it kind of book, even though TikTok is banned in my country. But It Ends With Us. Then I read Verity, and I read November 9. I have read Ugly Love. I have read Reminders of Him. I have read Without Merit. I don't think I've read any other. It Starts With Us. I have read that. So, which book? Let's start with the ones I hate, because let's flush the hate out our bodies before getting the ones I do not dislike as much. And some I even quite like. One I even quite like. How I would change the narrative of the book or the storyline only a bit to make it a better book. Okay. So, the one I least like is probably Ugly Love. I have read Wattpad fan fictions better than that book. Seriously, I don't know the point of Ugly Love and the lines. How can she write those lines and be sane? I don't think she's sane. No, she's not sane. Calling her sane, Colleen Hoover sane would be... But listen, I listened to the audiobook version because I'm an artist and I spend a lot of time drawing and painting, and I like listening to audiobooks. Don't ask me if I paid for it or not. So, God, my mom saw it and she was like, "What is this, bro? What are you listening to?" She did not listen to it because half the book contained sex. Not fun. Not fun to listen at all. That is why I try not to read romance books. Listen to audiobooks of romance books because it gets disgusting. I do not need explicit details. I guess some people do. Especially Haunting Adeline lovers. I don't know how those people exist, but they do. I don't know why dark romance exists at this point, actually. Seriously, with childhood fantasy way. I guess it is related to psychology and daddy issues or something like that. Let's not go further into that because we are concentrating on Colleen Hoover right now. I hope I'm audible. Ugly Love. I think the whole book should be discarded because there's nothing saving this book. Really. There's no point in making it better because, bro, stepsister, really, and then a baby that was born 2 seconds ago died, and no, just no. And let's start with the other book, right? Reminders of Him. November 9. November 9 is also bad. First of all, how can you? I don't get it. How can you forgive a guy? No. Date, love, marry a guy that ruined your career, burned your face. You could have been the greatest star ever, but you are not because a guy you did things with did to you, and he did not even tell you for half the time or something, and you found it out through a manuscript. That is actually disgusting. And what's up with Colleen Hoover manuscripts like Verity, maybe the and in this too, whatever. But no, and you meet him every November 9 because you're focusing on your career. That is not accelerating because your face got burned because of that guy. So why did that guy do it? Out of spite? No. That is just not good. I mean, forgiveness. She could have made this book more about forgiving people and something like that, or even revenge, right? But she did not. आखिर में they made up and made out. Not fun at all. I guess I have read these books. I read this November 9, okay, and it was okay. But one of my very literature into friends, I think she fakes it, liked November 9. I was thrashing about ugly love in my stories, on my Insta stories, and she said, November 9 is also quite nice. I was like, Really? Whatever. So, when we talk about reminders of him, let's talk about reminders of him. Okay, this is the most recent one. Reminders of him. See, not every, like Colleen Hoover, I don't know, I know you're not listening to this, but I'll hold your hand while saying this, okay? Not every book you write needs to be a romantic book. It does not need to include romance. Oh, wait. All your perfects, I've read that too, and it was, I don't remember it much. But let's talk about reminders of him right now. I think that was related to pregnancy. Actually, not pregnancy because the girl wasn't getting pregnant. Relationship issues, it was okay. It was not good or bad. It was the least memorable of her books, I think. Yeah. I guess it started with them finding out that they got cheated on, right? So yeah, reminders of him. See, it is the other Colleen Hoover book, I think, did not deserve to be a romantic book. Could have been more about forgiveness, Like, dual perspective, sure, you could have kept a dual perspective, but more about that guy. से कुछ नाम था. See, basically, let me give you a summary if you have not read it, okay? Basically, reminders of him is about a girl who was drunk driving with a boyfriend, and then they crashed. She skidded on the concrete, and then the car skidded, and then she tried to feel for the boyfriend's pulse, but his name was Scotty, right? Scotty. I don't remember. Okay. But basically she was trying to feel his pulse, and then his pulse was not pulsing. Heart is not hearting, whatever. Because his arm had died. Not he. But she thought he had died because she's obviously not a very good student or academically excelling, even though it is stated in the book that she is good. Like, she is a creative person, a literary person, because she wrote that guy like 300 plus letters, and she did not have a good and supportive past, so she did not write. Right. So apparently she left after that. Like, she was trying to die because she felt so bad that because of her boyfriend had died, and that's what she was thinking. And then ऐसे trying to die 3 cars के बीच में, she somehow got back into her apartment. Okay, and then police came, and apparently the forensics have told that he died like 6 hours later, and he was crawling. Very bad. Very, 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 very sad. Very tragic. Extremely tragic. Okay, I'm still trying to figure out what the guy's name was, the male leads. Whatever. Then she goes to prison for 5 years because she pleaded herself guilty, and she apparently gave birth to a child there, and the child went to Scotty's parents, grandparents, and she's trying to win their hearts. That's where the story is basically set. She is released from the prison, and she's trying to make up for everything she has missed, and her child's name is DM. Yeah, her child's name is DM, and she's 5. Obviously, she's 5 because she was in prison for 5 years and she was pregnant for 1. Okay. Malab, she's 4 years and some months. So, basically, I'm trying to figure out the guy's name. Let's call him L for now. Okay, let's call the guy L. Because, see, the guy has tattoos, he owns a bar, and then he gives her the position. Actually, first, those two, like every Colleen Hoover book, they make out. Shocker. They make out. And at that time, the L guy does not know that she is K से कुछ नाम था लड़के का, Kenny, right? Kenna, yeah, that's the girl's name. That Kenna, she is Kenna. He did not know because apparently back in that time, 5 years ago, she had blonde hair, and he saw her mugshot and she had blonde hair then, so he assumed that, right? He had forgotten what his childhood best friend's alleged murderer looked like. Okay, possible, maybe. If I change my hair, would you recognize me? If I kill your childhood best friend, of course you would, but he did not. I guess 5 years in prison changes a lot of things about you, right? So they hook up, and then later on he finds out that she is that person. See, the thing is, that girl, Kenna, was back into that town to win her child back, right? But what the first thing she did was hook up with another guy. This could have been so much more. It could have been simply that the guy was hitting on her and she could not take it. She could have just run out. But that's not what happened, I guess. I mean, देखिए, मेरा पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस नहीं रहा है प्रिजन में, बट कोलिन हूवर का भी नहीं रहा है, एंड आई डाउट शी हैज़ रेड द साइकोलॉजी ऑफ अ पर्सन हु हैज़ एस्केप्ड, नहीं मतलब who has been released from prison. I am sure she has not done the research कि एक person क्या सोचेगा after murdering basically the love of their life they had a child with, but I'm sure they won't go hooking up with their best friends, childhood best friends. Won't it feel like cheating? And won't the childhood best friend not like her because of that, right? मतलब it could have been more making amends thing and prison से release होने के aftermath, but she made it romance because आखिर में she, Kenna and the L guy got together. No, literally it did not mean that. I stumbled into a lot of people saying that this book did not deserve to be a romantic book, and neither did November 9, by the way. It could have been just the girl trying to murder that guy who burnt her face and ruined her career, but that was not it. Yeah, that girl found a different career, but she would have been an amazing actress otherwise. Acting coaches don't earn as much as actors, I guess. And seeing how she got into being an acting coach after just a few years was weird. After starring in how many movies, I don't remember, but okay, whatever. Never read that book twice. Will never read it twice. So back to reminders of him. See, reminders of him. I listened to that audiobook of it, and I really loved the girl who was speaking, from Kenna's perspective. She was actually so calming to hear. Music to my ears, I swear to God. And if I were writing this book, if I let's talk about if I were writing ugly love, I would not write it. If I were writing November 9, it would be about the girl getting a revenge. If I were writing reminders of him, it would be more about misunderstandings and making amends. And I would have made those letters to Scotty. I hope I'm speaking his name right. I have no idea. More about that L guy randomly stumbling on those when he's trying to, break into her apartment or something like that. Maybe, you could have made him more aggressive because first of all, he is an NFL player, professional he was, but his contract didn't get renewed, right? So maybe he could have been a more aggressive person. Obviously, after a person kills your best friend, you're filled with so much rage. I'm sure, if you break up with a person or another person makes you break up with another person, you get angry, right? You get very angry, you feel like killing that person. But when a person actually would kill your best friend, your lovely, lovely, lovely best friend, you would feel sad. You would feel like killing that person even though they're out of prison. I don't know how that L guy did not feel that rage. Well, being an NFL player, you would need some rage, but he has a bar, he has tattoos. I mean, some guys are very friendly, but not many. I don't know, I shouldn't characterize a person by their personality, but his personality लगती है ऐसी, ठीक है? मतलब he's a big softie, cares for DM so much, and he's so cute. Not cute, but yeah, like hard shell, a coconut. He's a coconut guy, and Kenna is basically mango. पता नहीं कब मीठी, पता नहीं कब अच्छी, कब नहीं कब बेकार, कब नहीं कब सौगी, right? पता नहीं कब खट्टे. Kenya. So that's what I would have done with reminders of him, him trying to break into Kenna's apartment and finding out where she lives and how she's doing and ending up in his bar after he read those letters and everything. He could have done that. She could have done that. And him finally trying to forgive her. I know, but the thing is, in reminders of him, the book Colleen Hoover wrote, he had forgiven her he had shown sympathy to her much before he had actually read those letters. Yeah, he saw her desperation to get her child, but आखिर में she was just the murderer of his best friend. That's how he assumed it. Obviously, she said कि I did not want to kill your best friend, but that's not how you forgive. That's okay. चोर, तुम्हें चोरी नहीं करनी थी, but तुमने करी ना. That's how it is. Like, bro, my mouth is getting dry. Let's get into It Ends With Us. I don't think we have much time. I'll make this video 25 minutes. Oh, wait. It Ends With Us बहुत लोगों ने बोला है. Let's have a separate video of that if we can. But I'll have a separate video of reminders of him if I'm writing it. Okay? मतलब how I would write it. Okay? And let's talk about Without Merit. It's not a much well-known book, but it has a special place in my heart. It's so unhinged, and I love the guy. ऐसे नाम था, Sejal, नहीं, I forgot, but I loved it, and I'm trying not to. I listen to the audiobook because I cannot physically read Colleen Hoover books because all are as bad. I haven't talked about It Ends With Us, I haven't talked about Verity, I haven't much talked about Without Merit, so I will talk about it in another video. Okay, so till then, bye, love you.